Hello, welcome to the Good Life sorry, the Solitude transcription for today. Working on page 32. Hey, there's a comment from Robert. Hey, Robert. It's 4:59 a.m. and yep, 5:01 now. Yes, sir. All right, here we go. Let's listen to rabbits from Noarians. Here we go. As we continue. Oh, you know what? Maybe not. Maybe not. Let's do something wild. How about 56 million years from now? Let's try that. Fast. Let's try past the galactic center. Oh, ain't that weird? Okay, let's go back. To heck with this. Let's go to rabbits. Here we go. I gotta. Those are too short. All right. Well, we fade that down. Maybe right about here. We did it. We've got the page out. And Robert says he's suddenly singing David Wilcox songs, and he's no singer, but the music did enhance the feeling of rebellion as a teen. It's fun music. Okay, let's go ahead and read this. What we've got here. Stop that. Wink. Place that. So what we've got here now, let's begin from the previous page. See if there's any typos. Okay, here's one. State. Okay, I'll start from the bottom. Absolutely necessary. Necessary. I think oh, it doesn't like the two. Well, that's what's in there, so live with it. Ignore ones. State, you don't like the comma, do you? State, yep, but it's in there, right? Let's see. Is it in there? Minister having anxiously state and. Yeah, it is in there. Okay, so ignore once. Anxiously is misspelled. Fix that. And then exertions. There we go. Fix that. Spelling. I think we got it. Okay, let's try this. The exhilarating idea, sorry, the exhilarating idea of being instrumental in affording relief to suffering humanity reconciles every difficulty, however great. Prompts to new, okay, however great, reconciles every difficulty, however great, prompts to new exertions, however fruitless, and sustains them in those arduous conflicts in which all who aspire to promote the interest and improve the happiness of mankind must occasionally engage, especially when opposed by the pride and profligacy of the rich and great, and the obstinacy and caprice of the ignorant and unfeeling. Profligacy. I used to know that word. Let's see. Isn't that like the excess? Yeah, reckless extravagance. Excuse me. Yeah, reckless extravagance and wastefulness in the use of resources, licentious and or dissolute behavior. Okay, good. So we've got that down. So I think I understand that sentence. Let's try that again. The exhilarating idea of being instrumental in affording the relief of affording the relief of suffering humanity reconciles every difficulty. So if you get the idea that you're going to be able to make things better, it reconciles every difficulty, however great, prompts to new exertions, however fruitless, and sustains them in those arduous conflicts in which all who aspire to promote the interest and improve the happiness of mankind must occasionally engage, especially when opposed by the wait. However fruitless, and sustains them in those arduous conflicts in which all who aspire to promote the interest and improve the happiness. Well, it's going to go over the text. Hold on, let me change that a little bit. Pardon me. And sustains them in those arduous conflicts in which all who aspire to promote the interest and improve the happiness of mankind must occasionally engage. Excuse me, just 1 second. All right, let's do this. Okay, prompts to new exertions, however fruitless, and sustains them in those arduous conflicts in which all who aspire to promote the interest and improve the happiness of mankind must occasionally engage. So we all have to do this. Anyone that wants to genuinely make the world a better place occasionally must engage in these things, especially when opposed by the pride and profligacy of the rich and great. So especially when you've got that going against you, and the obstinacy and caprice of the ignorant and unfeeling. So you've got the great and the powerful and their pride and their profligacy going on, all their excess, and then you've got the ignorant and unfeeling. They're basically not even trying, and that's what you're fighting the uphill battle against. Hi, Erica. Good morning.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
How's your morning starting off?
Good.
Good to hear. See, I'm midway through the first sentence here. I finished my writing. Now I'm just trying to figure it out. Here we go again for that first sentence. The exhilarating idea of being instrumental in affording the relief to suffering humanity. Well, I said that wrong. The exhilarating idea of being the exhilarating idea of being instrumental in affording relief to suffering humanity reconciles every difficulty, however great, prompts to new exertions, however fruitless, and sustains them in those arduous conflicts in which all who aspire to promote the interest and improve the happiness of mankind must occasionally engage, especially when opposed by the pride and profligacy of the rich and the great, and the obstinacy and caprice of the ignorant and unfeeling. That was a particularly tricky one to get through. Interesting how Zimmermann here uses commas everywhere. I might have been tempted to throw a semicolon in to separate some of these things out because otherwise I had to run through it 3 times before I could understand it and then read it properly. But now it comes out clearly. So those who aspire to make the world a better place are motivated and energized to do so in spite of the uh, excess of the rich and the willless just life of the ignorant. Okay. I'm reminded of a woman that I knew in Japan who was fighting that uphill battle. Next sentence. But the most virtuous and stead minds cannot always bear up against a sea of trouble, or by opposing end them. I've heard that before. It's in quotation marks. Who wrote that? I think I remember Ralph Waldo Emerson quoting that same line right there. A sea of troubles, or by opposing end them. Let's see if we can figure this out. First of all, what does but what was stead? So stead minds means trying, continually trying, I think. Or I think you say steed. Stead, that's how you say it. The place or role that someone or something should have to or fill. What? But the most virtuous and stead minds. Is there an archaic definition for that? Obsolete locality or place. That's not it. Oh, help, to be of avail, help. So that might be it right there. The transitive verb. So, but the most virtuous and stead mind. So that would be a mind that someone that wants to help would be stead. So that's that more lesserly known use of it. So that's probably the one. Now let's see if we can figure this out. A sea of troubles, or by opposing end them. Who said that? Oh, of course, it's Shakespeare. Of course, I knew I'd heard it. It wasn't Emerson. It was Shakespeare. Where is it? Here it is, right here. Oh, awesomeness! Here we go. To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against the sea of troubles, and by opposing end them. Isn't that beautiful? How the old authors of old could weave in bits of Shakespeare in their writing, being so familiar, they're so utterly familiar with it. Robert says, hi, Erica. Not that much says, hi, people. Hi. Not that much does. Or good. I don't know how you say good morning in German. Good Morgen. Oh, it's not morning for you anymore, is it? And he says hi, Erica, as well.
Hello. It's actually Guten Tag.
Oh, thank you. Guten Tag. How do you say good afternoon? Because I think it's more like afternoon there.
I have no clue. I'm
Well,
not that fluent in German.
good. We'll say guten Tag because it's morning for us.
And I like Shakespeare.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I read somewhere a beautiful description. This is like reading Shakespeare is like speaking with jewels in your mouth.
Mhm.
But the most virtuous instead minds, steed. How did they pronounce that? Stead. But the most virtuous instead minds cannot bear up against a sea of troubles, or by opposing end them, and depressed by temporary adversities will arraign the cruelty of their condition and sigh for the shades of peace and tranquility. What? I don't get it. But the most virtuous instead minds cannot always bear up against the sea of trouble. So as hard as you try, as virtuous as you are, as you're trying to make the world a better place, but you can't bear up against the sea of troubles or by opposing them. You know, I just introduced this morning, Erica, into the Good Life, a new principle called the horror show. And that is exactly what that is saying as well, that no matter how much you're trying to make the world a better place, you have this sea of troubles that are always going on. And that's what I mean by the horror show. Life always has is is forever producing one horror after another. And depressed by temporary adversities will arraign the cruelty of their condition. Arraign. I don't know if I understand that word. Doesn't that mean to blame or to bring to bear, like you're summoning to consider? To call a defendant before court to answer for an indictment. But the most virtuous and steed minds cannot always bear up against a sea of trouble or by opposing in them, and depressed by temporary adversities will arraign to call before court to accuse. That's probably at the second one. To accuse of wrong will arraign the cruelty of their condition and sigh for the shades of peace and tranquility. So you blame your own circumstance and long for solitude. Heavy stuff. There's a long sentence here, and I think it's got a quote, an exclamation mark there at the end. See that last bit? But over here, he doesn't have anything. Let's try. How transcendent must be the enjoyment of a great and good minister who, after having anxiously attended to the important business of the state and disengaged himself from the necessary but irksome occupation of official detail, refreshes his mind in the calm of some delightful retreat with works of taste and thoughts of fancy and imagination. Do we need an exclamation mark there? See it right over here? I don't know if you can see my cursor. There's something there that looks like an exclamation mark missing the dot at the bottom. I think that's right. Ooh, there's a couple of comments. Want to become famous? Okay. Want to be okay? One more of that, huh? Yeah. Okay, and still yet more. Wow. Okay. There you go. Well, lots of that. Okay, back over here. How transcendent must be the enjoyment of a great and good minister who, after having anxiously attended to the important business of the state and disengaged himself from the necessary but irksome occupation of official detail, refreshes his mind in the calm of a delightful retreat with works of taste and thoughts of fancy and imagination. Okay? So the person that, I wonder if he literally means a minister, like a religious minister, having worked to his higher aims, tries to seek a little rest. I don't know if that we need an exclamation mark there though. When I read it later, I'll try to leverage the exclamation mark and see if it sounds strange. A change indeed, both of scene and sentiment, is absolutely necessary, not only in the serious and important employments, but even in the common occupations and idle amusements of life. Okay, that's fair. In a very small sentence, pleasure springs from contrast. Okay. The most charming object loses a portion of its power to delight by being continually beheld. All right. And then the next one we can't finish because it goes over into tomorrow. So let's give it a try. Let's give this a full run. Here we go. We'll even begin from the paragraph above. Let's go from the top. I need a sip of tea first. Not that much. Des has a comment about the exclamation mark. Maybe he was excited, hence the exclamation mark. Maybe. Let's see. When I read it, I'm going to try to use the exclamation mark and see if it comes out strange. If it does come out strange, then we'll. But I don't know what to remove it to because there's definitely something there. It's got to be an exclamation mark, and there's no citation. Here we go. Men who are engaged in pursuits foreign to the natural inclination of their minds. Try again. Men who are engaged in pursuits foreign to the natural inclination of their minds sigh continually for retirement as the only means of recruiting their fatigued spirits and procuring a comfortable repose. Scenes of tranquility can alone afford them any idea of enjoyment. A refined sense of duty, indeed, frequently induces noble minds to sacrifice all personal pleasure to the great interests of the public, or the private benefit of their fellow creatures. And they resist every opposing obstacle with courage, and bear every adversity with fortitude, under those cheering sentiments and proud delights which result from the pursuits of active charity and benevolence, even though their career be thwarted by those whose advantages they design to promote. The exhilarating idea of being instrumental in affording the relief of suffering humanity reconciles every difficulty, however great, prompts to new exertions, however fruitless, and sustains them in those arduous conflicts in which all who aspire to promote the interest and improve the happiness of mankind must occasionally engage, especially when opposed by the pride and profligacy of the rich and the great, and the obstinacy and caprice of the ignorant and unfeeling. But the most virtuous and stead minds cannot always bear up against a sea of troubles, or by opposing end them, and depressed by temporary adversities, will arraign the cruelty of their condition, and sigh for the shades of peace and tranquillity. How transcendent must be the enjoyment of a great and good minister, who, after having anxiously attended to the important business of the state, and disengaged himself from the necessary but irksome occupation of official detail, refreshes his mind in the calm of some delightful retreat, with works of taste and thoughts of fancy and imagination. Yes, that works. A change, indeed, both of scene and sentiment, is absolutely necessary, not only in the serious and important employments, but even in the common occupations and idle amusements of life. Pleasure springs from contrast. The most charming object loses a portion of its power to delight by being continually beheld. That works. I think that exclamation mark is exactly what is needed. And we did it. Well, Erica, what's your plan for the day? I think you might be muted.
Well, I'm just gonna relax, a little tired from festivities.
You're gonna relax? You're tired?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, did you have a big day on your birthday yesterday? Did you have some fun?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have a
And
party?
and I had to, cater to my guests that showed up yesterday. They came a little early, and I was still at work. I'm like, oh man. So I had no time. So I had to immediately attend to my guests, and then we were on the schedule, so I had to like try to do everything as efficient as possible because similar to your like life schedule, I don't want to miss a beat, you know.
Yeah, it's nice to have a plan.
Yes, and I find that um I also find that making the world a better place would be nice, but there's always horrors because yeah, I always find that relatable. I'm not sure if you do.
Oh yeah, I think so. Yes, indeed. Yeah.
Um, yes, and um, well, um, I hope you, you had a good mountain hike. Thank you for the response.
Oh,
Appreciate it.
you're welcome. Thank you for the challenging request. It was fun to
Um,
think about.
okay, and well, you said your parents dealt with that. Well, of course they told you and stuff, but they did the burial process or cremation, cremation process.
I don't know what happened to Tasha and Fresca and Moses. All I know is that they disappeared.
Oh, so
So
you're saying,
I think my parents simply just just took care of it. Whatever they did. I don't know what they did.
oh, okay. Well, but I was thinking about you, of course, yesterday. Wish you could be, present, but I know you're busy. You're a busy man, and I'm like very fortunate to spend the day with you a little bit,
Yeah.
at
Well,
least a little.
I'm glad you can join me to do this. It's always fun. And we've got a. I'm so glad you had a good weekend. I mean, a good birthday yesterday, and now you get the start of a nice weekend, and that'll be fun as well. I think the rain is coming next week, so we better, if we're going to do anything outside, we better do it today and tomorrow, huh?
Yes, and also Rudy is asleep.
Rudy is very much asleep, and then Ollie is right over here.
Oh,
He's asleep too. I don't know if you can see him, but
hmm. Well,
yep.
he's off frame, but I believe you.
Yeah, yep. He is off frame. Oh, if I make myself big, you can see him. Hold on, let's see. There, now you can just barely see a little Ollie on the other side.
Oh yeah, I mean, I bet they don't want to go out because it's like cold.
Yeah, I don't think they want to go out, but we have to go out and do our business, right, doggies?
Yeah, and
And
what?
you'd be very proud of them. They climbed. They did a lot of hiking. I took them after my hike. I took them on a hike, and they did good. They climbed a little mountain, and I'm very proud of my little boys.
Cool.
Oh, and
And
you're getting a nice birthday wish from Robert.
oh,
And he says, "Happy birthday, Erica." And
hi. Thank you, Robert.
he says he loved Black Cats and Mrs. Commander Abby. And he also says it seems Simon is having difficulty ending his live stream. Chrome is offering challenges. He turned off his camera, but the music continues to play on.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's unfortunate. I hope the person, um, you know, prevails.
Yeah, so Simon tends nothing seems to. He's I think the word is indefatigable. It would be the way to describe Simon. He's a good guy.
Oh, and also, what is your favorite literature from Shakespeare?
I don't actually haven't read Shakespeare, so
Hmm.
I don't have a favorite. What's yours?
It would either be Romeo and Juliet or Hamlet.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yes, and Edgar Allan Poe's a good one.
really?
Have you read Edgar Allan Poe's books?
I have. Yeah,
They're pretty cool.
they are definitely.
Um,
What's your favorite Poe story?
I think it would be the Telltales of the Heart.
Yes, that's my favorite too.
because you kind of raise into um insanity because
Mm,
you actually told a lie and then you finally crack and you're like it's here under the floorboards even though it's
yes, yes. Yes, it's the madness that you can't escape. It's really, really well done. I do like it.
That's
I
why
also
you. Oh, go ahead.
oh please go ahead, Erica.
Oh, sorry. Um, sorry for interrupting, but
Yeah.
that's why you should never lie. That's why we were taught at a young age, or even in adult life, depending on which perspective. But
Mm.
um, that's that's why we were taught not to lie, and that's not a good thing.
You know, another one that I like of his stories that's been very relevant lately is the Mask of the Red Death.
Oh,
Um, you know, just imagine, you know, the powerful man with all of his courtiers hold up. You know, it takes place during the time of the Black Plague, right? And so they're holed up in the castle, and then all around them in the countryside, the Black Death is consuming the countryside, and they have wine and food, and they're all protected, and then the plague enters the room, right? And they realize it. And I thought that was really interesting, especially at the start of the pandemic, as we were all scrambling to collect toilet paper and water and stuff like that, and yet the COVID-19 got to us nonetheless. And I was thinking Poe had basically shown us the way with the Mask of the Red Death. Or
oh yes, and like and similar diseases, unfortunately, like similar to like I mean like yellow fever that um attacked Philadelphia, and it was pretty devastating. And people are making comparisons now to COVID-19 with yellow fever because it was so devastating.
oh wow, I guess that would be comparable.
Yes. Well, I'll let you go now since I think it's time, but we'll read the next comment.
Robert says the first thing that popped into my mind was the Taming of the Shrew. I guess
Oh,
a Shakespeare story.
cool.
I am no stranger to insanity. I rode its ragged edge to achieve omnipresence once. The enthusiasm for finding people that wanted to keep talking, who also had many of the traits I have that were not common at work. Resonance was a gift that suddenly appeared often, and I will never complain of this.
Hmm. Oh,
All
that's nice. Well,
right.
yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say I wish you all the best today. I hope it's a great day and a great start to the weekend for you.
You too. And I must say that Robert always looks fancy in his profile.
Yeah. Yeah, he does with the suit and
Yeah.
tie.
Mhm. Well, but I'll check that video about like the horror show. That seems interesting.
All right.
All right. Well, bye everybody. I hope you have a nice weekend, and bye, Mr. Kurt. Take care.
Take care, Erica. Bye, everybody.